Fourth trial, 1200 meters. Sent back from the 1200 meter marker. Miss Brooks a little bit slow to go. And also Regal Relative is one of the trailers early on. First to go, My Name is Bond is with the blinkers on. Royal Security Jet, green sleeves and orange cap is a close-up second. Gemstone Creek. In the yellow silks is back. Third, Hamlin Bay, red sleeves and cap. Killarney House is near the rail, then Mel Rebellio. Yellow cap of Faruda. That's racing about 6 lengths off the leader, caught 3 deep at this stage. They are followed further back by Way of Light in the club blue. And then Seeking the Dream at the back of the field, Regal Relative and Miss Brooks. As they turn into the home stretch, they've got about 500 to go. My Name is Bond. Royal Security Jet is on the outside. Then Gemstone Creek, Hamlin Bay. Towards the inside, Killarney House. In the club blue is Way of Light. As they get to the 200, My Name is Bond is the leader. Gemstone Creek on the outside. Hamlin Bay, the red sleeves and cap is running on. My Name is Bond. Hamlin Bay comes home powerfully on the inside. Taking off from nowhere, Miss Brooks. But it's going to go to possibly Hamlin Bay from My Name is Bond. Miss Brooks stays on very nicely for a minor money. And towards the inside, Killarney House is also right there. Then Gemstone Creek, Royal Security Jet. Let's look at that slow-mo replay as they do the pull-up area. And it's Hamlin Bay, number 2. And this one gets up and just gets to number 1, My Name is Bond. So Hamlin Bay, red sleeves and cap. And My Name is Bond, but Hamlin Bay will get there in time. My Name is Bond will take the second position. Let's run it across. The third place, Gemstone Creek or Miss Brooks. That's between 3 and 10. Then number 9, Way of Light, and 8, Seeking the Dream, followed then by 11, Faruda, Mel Rebellio. Let's look further at the head-on. My Name is Bond. And Hamlin Bay comes home well with the red sleeves and cap, goes towards the inside. Royal Security Jet towards the outside. Gemstone Creek is in the all yellow. And Killarney House is towards the inside. Ms. Brooks racing 2 off the right-hand side with the white noseband, and the blue cap takes off nicely as well. But at the end, it's Hamlin Bay. From My Name is Bond, they'll return to the unsaddling enclosure shortly. Get some more feedback from jockeys, trainers, and all in all, and of course the track managers as well. So all in all, very, very positive feedback. Of course, next Wednesday, Greyville Day meeting. That's tomorrow week. First time on the Polytrack. Back to the studio.
Ending off the Polytrack trials is number 2, Hamlin Bay. This is from the Pat Lund stable, and Keegan DeMello gets a taste of getting the head in front here. Tell us a bit about your impressions of the track this evening.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fair out there. It's definitely the way forward. I think it's quite fair to all horses. I had horses that came from last today and finished it. I had horses from midfield. This horse came from midfield and he won it. So I think it's definitely the way forward.
Just looking space-wise from the grandstand, it looks a bit narrow, but when you actually look at the head-on, there looks to be quite a bit of room to manoeuvre.
Yes, definitely. I think it does. Around the bend, I think I'm learning the track all the while, and I think if we give each other room, it'll definitely improve.
Then tell me, coming to that last 100 meters, can you notice that big screen on the inside? Are any of the horses looking at it, or they just go on with their business?
Look, my horse, this Hamlin Bay, my other horses haven't really looked at it, but he's been known to look at things, and he did it. So I think if you've got horses who are known to do it, I think they're going to be looking at it.
Also a bit of experience once they have a run or two on the poly, obviously, to adapt and find their stride in that, then they'll be in good stead.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just all experience. The horses need to get used to it. Me as a jockey, it's my first time riding on the poly, and it's going to take time for everyone to get used to it, I think.
Well done, Keegan.
Thank you very much.
Let's get Graham Hawkins in, Racing and Marketing Executive. Obviously, it's Polytrack Trial, so trial and error, but all the feedback seems to be very positive.
Yeah, I think it's been a very worthwhile exercise. I guess the right analogy is tonight was the bachelor party. The wedding is next week, and it's the start of a very long marriage association with the Polytrack. So it's a learning curve. We're delighted to have Martin Collins in person with us here this evening. and the rest of his team, Peter Morrison and so on. They've done a fabulous job, but it is obviously, as they've learnt at Fairview as well, each one of these tracks, depending on their location, although the recipe is the same, the location has a lot to do with how the track behaves, the climatic conditions, and so on. So we're on the threshold of a whole new learning curve, but I think it adds a fantastic dimension to racing. And given here, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, that we have an extended rainy period, as we've seen, extending from September, October, November, December, it's going to be a tremendous boon for us, I think.
All positive feedback, obviously changing one or two things. We're looking forward to our next meeting next week, I believe the 11th.
Yes, that's what I said. Tonight was the bachelor party. The wedding day is the 11th, and then, of course, soon after that on the 13th, when we race most of the races on the Polytrack, except for the post-merchant. So I think the guys who participated, I'd just like to extend a thank you to the owners and the trainers and the jockeys who participated here this evening. I was hoping to have bigger fields and more involvement and a broader spectrum of participation, but I also understand the guys sitting on the sidelines looking to have a look. But we get into the action next week. We've had tremendous nominations. I have no idea what the acceptances are going to be like, but we had over 300 nominations for the meeting on the 11th. We had over 400 for the meeting on the 13th, which is, the 11th is a day meeting. 13th is a night meeting, and therein too lies two different preparations. So Kurt Groenewald and the team here at Greyville, they've obviously got a lot to learn. We'll learn from the guys down in Port Elizabeth. We'll obviously learn from head office in the UK, and obviously the South African operation here headed by Peter Morrison. So it's the start, as I said, we stand on the threshold of a whole new era. But I think, as I was chatting to the guys now, it just adds something to racing. It adds another dimension to racing. It creates other opportunities for horses. And most importantly, perhaps we won't lose any more meetings. I can't say we will never lose another meeting, but perhaps certainly we won't lose as many.
Thanks very much for stepping in here, and all the best with the future. Like they say, Polytrack's the way of the future.
I absolutely agree with that. I think we've seen around the world that synthetic surfaces have been embraced successfully, and Polytrack is the pioneer. So we're delighted to be associated with Martin Collins Enterprises. And as I said, Pumalel have installed Polytrack at Fairview. We've done it here. We'll work together to learn from each other. We're not in competition with each other. And I'm sure there'll be more Polytracks to emerge. I don't know what the plans are for Cape Town and for Johannesburg, but they are going to become a reality in South African racing. And better you embrace it than try and challenge it.
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins, and thanks to everybody making the effort this evening, coming out, supporting the trials. And we had the 4 races. We had the 1200s, the 1400s, the 1600s. We've had the feedbacks from the jockeys, the trainers, all the respective in-the-know people. And certainly, like they say, we're going to be racing here next week. Lots of exciting things to look forward to. And if you kept your eyes close on some of these runners, you might be able to make a few rand next week.